Ah, the Olympics, where every 4 years the world comes together around an expensive bonfire and listens to Imagine by John Lennon, covered by John Legend. With the 2020-2021 Summer Olympics going on in the absurdly huge city of Tokyo from the great weeb nation of Nihon or Japan, I thought it would be a fitting time to talk about the absolute weirdest moments that have happened throughout the history of the Olympics that you probably did not know. But first, the OG Olympic Games took place in Olympia, Greece and ran from 776 BCE all the way to 392 CE. And like today, was held every 4 years in conjunction with a festival granted to their Greek god Zeus. But then Roman Emperor Theodosius got rid of the Olympics in an attempt to get rid of paganism from his empire in favor of implementing Christianity. Surprisingly, it took a measly 1500 years for the Olympics to return. That in 1896, Pierre Coubertin formed the International Olympic Committee, and thus the modern Olympics was born. So when you think of the Olympics, you might think of the marathon, right? That or Michael Phelps's death stare in the 2016 Rio Olympics. But do you know the origins of the marathon? Well, according to the myth, in 490 BCE, the Persian Empire attacked the Athenian Greek village of Marathon, and Greek soldier Phidippides ran to Sparta to request military aid. Even though Sparta refused to help, the Athenians won regardless. Phidippides then ran to Athens to proclaim his great victory, but after running about 150 miles in 2 days, he unfortunately died of fatigue. Even though there is no proof of this happening, the myth gained so much popularity that they created the marathon after this in honor of his achievement. So during the opening ceremony of the 2014 Sochi Olympics in Russia, the official Russian police choir decided to perform Get Lucky by Daft Punk. And it was unique for sure. It was definitely unique. Just the mental image of Russian police singing Get Lucky, all while two of them are like totally vibing out, but the rest of them are still like on patrol, like searching for like protesters and like, who am I gonna arrest today? It's an image I cannot get out of my head. Just a bunch of middle-aged Russian men in uniform singing like the legend of the penis with a straight face. Imagine being swimmer Eric Musambani in the year 2000, where just 8 months ago is when he started to learn how to swim. You've only ever practiced in a 12-meter pool at the hotel you're staying at between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. only on weekdays. And despite your lack of years of experience and lack of training, you get called to represent your country of Equatorial Guinea in the upcoming Sydney Olympics. You have so many different emotions going through your mind. You're both ecstatic, nervous, confused, but you're very determined to represent your country. And so the time comes and you're on the starting block and you realize this is your first time ever swimming in a 50-meter Olympic-sized pool. And now you're about to jump off the board. 3, 2, 1. The other swimmers jumped in what seemed at light speed. Then, all of a sudden, you hear a whistle call. Everyone confusingly turns their head to the ref, and the officials say that all the other competitors are disqualified because they jumped before the whistle. You are now the only swimmer in the race, and you had to swim the 100-meter freestyle alone. And so you do, and win an official Olympic race with the slowest record of 100-meter freestyle in Olympic history at about 1 minute and 52 seconds, while the world record is around 48 seconds. This was a story of how Eric the Eel Musambani managed to win an Olympic race while being the only one participating. I'm not even making fun of him. Him making it to the Olympics is already a huge achievement on its own. But this is definitely one of the weirdest moments to have happened in Olympic history. It seems like the last 15 meters took as much time as it did to get there. But yet the crowd applaud wholeheartedly, and I'm with them. The best part about this is that on the exact same day, that world record was beaten and that got nowhere near the same amount of coverage as Musambani's. It's funny to think that an official swimmer who's dedicated their whole entire life and broke a world record, that was not even good enough. He got overshadowed by a guy who just learned how to swim 8 months ago. On the final day of the 2004 Athens Olympics, Brazilian distance runner Vanderlei de Lima was 22 miles deep into the men's marathon where he was attacked by a spectator wearing green long socks, an orange kilt, and a gris beret by the name of Niall Horan. Horan was also a self-proclaimed Irish Roman Catholic priest who also interrupted the 2003 British Grand Prix for the exact same reasons as he did in the Athens Olympics, which was to raise awareness of the upcoming apocalypse. He later earned the title of Dancing Priest in 2009 as he appeared in Britain's Got Talent, where he danced his way into the second rounds right until the executives found out who he exactly was. He said in a 2016 interview that he sent de Lima 2 apology letters and even planned on going to the 2016 Rio Olympics to apologize to him personally, but was barred from traveling as he faced charges of indecency with a child. Horan has since said, "It's extremely sad that he never responded to my apologies, nevertheless acknowledged them. I would like to meet him and his family, but absolutely no response. I condemn him for this. He miserably failed in basic manners of human decency and courtesy." I mean, I think tackling someone in the middle of one of their biggest races of their lifetime is also miserable failure in human decency and courtesy, but to each their own, I guess. I saved the weirdest Olympic moment for last, the great race of the 1904 Olympic Marathon. The United States hosted their first Olympic Games in the city of St. Louis as part of a conjunction with the World's Fair to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of the Louisiana Purchase. The marathon consisted of experienced and prize marathoners like Sam Miller, Michael Springs, or Thomas Hicks, but the rest of the runners were not what you would call traditional runners. Including 10 Greeks who never ran a marathon in their life, 2 barefoot men from the Tswana tribe of South Africa who were mainly there for the South Africa exhibits of the World Fair, a bricklayer named Fred Lors, and a Cuban mailman named Felix Carvajal. Felix himself was interesting though. He managed to raise money to come to the United States after showing his running prowess in Cuba by running the entire length of the country. And when he arrived to New Orleans, he lost all of his money due to gambling, and walked his way to St. Louis. A fair official stated that the race was the most difficult a human has ever been asked to run, which consisted of roads inches deep in dust, 7 steep hills varying from 100 to 300 feet high, and severely cracked stone paveways, all while constantly dodging traffic, delivery wagons, railroad trains, trolley cars. And of the 25-mile course, there was only 2 spots for water, one 6 miles in and the other 6 more miles in. So you had to complete the entire second half without any water intake, 12 straight miles without any water. It was actually quite common for these games to intentionally limit water intake as they wanted to test the athletes under dehydration and test their limits. It was insane back then, what could I say? So the race started and the 32 runners went their way. William Garcia from California was the first to fall as he collapsed on the side of the road and was hospitalized with hemorrhages, as it was deemed that the dust intake ripped his stomach lining. It was said that if he ran an extra mile, he might have actually bled to death. Up next, John Lorden forfeited after vomiting for too much the entire race. One of the South African runners, Len Tao, was chased a whole mile off the course by wild feral dogs. Cuban mailman Felix was making good time, so he often stopped in the middle of the race, including, but not limited to, speaking to spectators with broken English and stopping a car after seeing the driver eat peaches and asking him for one himself. In which, when the drivers refused, he then stole it from them and continued eating them in the middle of the race. And then later in the course, he stopped by an orchid and ate an apple that happened to be rotten and give him stomach cramps. And as one does to deal with stomach cramps from a rotten apple during an Olympic race, he took a nap. 9 miles in, bricklayer Fred Lors also got cramps and hitched a ride by passing his competitors in a car, all while waving at him. Pro marathoner Thomas Hicks was given strychnine and egg whites 7 miles away from the finish line, which was the first official instance of drug use in Olympic history. After hitchhiking for 11 miles, Lourdes re-entered the course and managed to finish it in just under 3 hours. And while the gold medal was being placed over his head, someone interrupted and demanded for the accord to stop. And in calling Lourdes, and I quote, an imposter. Like all bad imposters in Among Us, he didn't even deny it. He said he re-entered the race as a joke. People back then even lived by the meme. And then when drug-riddled Thomas Hicks heard the news of the disqualification, he had his trainers give him another dose of the mixture, all while washing it down with a full bottle of brandy. So mid-race, he began hallucinating. Oh my god, what is this? He began hallucinating, believing the finish line was still 20 miles away. And in the last 2 miles, he passed out, and thus his trainers had to carry him all the way to the finish line, where he was declared the official winner of the marathon. It took 4 doctors and an hour just for him to gain conscious enough to leave the stadium, as he also apparently lost 8 pounds during the course of the race. So yeah, those are some of my favorite weirdest moments throughout the Olympic history. If you enjoy the content, check out this video where I talk about why flags suck these days. Either way, thank you so much for watching and much love. That last one, God.